听专家解读美国升学方案，看美国学习生活点滴，圆美国名校梦想。本节目由美国文美教育集团冠名播出。
大家好，欢迎来到文美集团美国升学直通车。文美集团美国升学直通车是华人网和文美教育集团联合制作播出的北美首档大型的网络直播教育节目。在我们的节目当中，你将会了解到最新最权威的教育资讯，还有升学的建议。在我们的节目过程当中，无论你是学生还是家长，有任何的美国升学教育问题，都可以给我们留言，我也会请我们的嘉宾尽量来回答您的问题。文美集团是美国著名的大学申请及规划辅导机构。20年规划经验，在美国洛杉矶、纽约、芝加哥等12个城市设有服务中心，为广大华人子女提供教育服务。文美集团专注于美国大学升学规划服务，教育学博士+常春藤名校面试官顾问团队，中美双顾问模式，为6到12年级学生提供最好、最全方位的教育服务。欢迎大家扫码或者是直接搜索关注文美集团的微信公众号美国文美，及时了解最新最全的美国升学资讯。如果想跟文美的客服互动，请在节目播出期间扫描屏幕左下角的文美客服二维码，或者直接搜索微信号文美集团的全拼音添加。文美的咨询热线是1888-789-0942。好的，下面我们就要邀请文美集团的美籍顾问康奈尔大学的面试官 Mr. 皮尔先生跟大家来分享来请问一下万博士，今天他会跟大家分享什么的话题呢？
今天为大家分享自己在申请过程中的一个择校策略。什么叫择校策略呢？我们经常说这个大学申请呢，用这个医生看病来举例子，是吧？人体呢是非常复杂的一个系统，是各方面协调工作，你才能健康，是吧？那又像是一部汽车，那你任何一个零件出了问题，都有可能导致抛锚，没办法开。是吧？其实大学申请也是这样，文书很重要，其实你的择校策略也很重要。每年呢都有这样的孩子来咨询我们，什么样的情况呢？要不然是录的太多了，是吧？要不就是说申了10个录了8个，要不然是一个没录，申了10个10个全拒了。其实这都是择校策略本身有很大的问题，是吧？那么你在择校应该注意哪些方面？你如何探索适合自己的学校？如何把自己定位好？其实是变得非常重要的。那么把这一部分做好，再加上你漂亮的文书，各方面的，你最后就会取得比较好的结果。所以呢 ，Mr. Pierre 呢这次就跟大家分享如何自我评估，如何找到自己的学校，既有冲刺的，又能够确保自己能够稳稳的落地，是吧？所以这个是非常重要的那么Mr. Pierre 作为这个康奈尔大学的这个招生官的话呢，经验也是非常丰富每年处理很多学生的申请。那么相信他的这些见地呢，还是那句话，我们中美双视角为大家提供服务让大家体会到最权威、最全面的服务，然后有最强的竞争力。谢谢大家。
好的，谢谢万博士那么所以下面我们来请皮尔先生来跟大家做分享。
Hi everyone, this is Pierre for WinMei. Today's topic is college list development, crafting your ideal college list. So I've actually prepared a presentation for this, so we're going to switch over to that. Just go ahead and show. So this topic is obviously really important because choosing where you're going to go to college is a big decision. Obviously, we're talking about possibly the next 4 years of your life when you're choosing where you're going to go to college. So obviously it's a process. And the process of developing a college list is a critical step in the journey to higher education. It requires careful consideration of personal interests, goals, and aspirations to ensure a good fit between the student and the institution. The hope is that this presentation will guide you through understanding your preferences, identifying potential colleges, and categorizing them into reach, target, and safety schools, helping you create a balanced and strategic college list. So, understanding your interests and goals. The first step in developing your college list is a thorough self-assessment. Reflect on your academic interests and strengths. extracurricular passions, career aspirations, and personal values. Consider what subjects excite you the most, and if you have a specific major in mind, think about your career goals and whether you plan to attend graduate or professional school. Reflect on your extracurricular activities, what you enjoy and what you want to continue in college. Finally, consider your personal preferences for college size, location, and campus culture. So there are a few questions you need to consider. As you begin the process, you have to ask yourself these key questions. In terms of academic interests, what subjects excite you the most? Do you have a specific major in mind? For career goals, what careers are you interested in? Do you want to attend graduate or professional school? For extracurriculars, what activities do you enjoy? Are you looking to continue these in college? For personal preferences, do you prefer a large university or a small college? Are you looking for an urban, suburban, or rural setting? These questions will help you identify the characteristics you value the most in a college, guiding your research and decision-making process. Okay, so these are questions that you'll be going through that you need to think about carefully. Next step is identifying potential colleges. Once you have a clear understanding of your interests and goals, start researching colleges that align with your preferences. Use resources like college websites, guidebooks, and virtual tours to gather information. Attend college fairs and information sessions, and talk to current students and alumni to gain insights into the college experience. This research phase is crucial to discovering schools that match your criteria. Key factors to consider. When evaluating potential colleges, consider several key factors. Size. Decide whether you prefer a large university with a wide range of resources and opportunities or a small college with a more intimate, personalized learning environment. For location, think about the geographic location of the college, including its proximity to home, climate, and the surrounding environment. Majors and programs, evaluate the strength and reputation of the specific academic programs that interest you. Campus culture, consider the social atmosphere, diversity, clubs, and organizations available on campus. And the idea is that these factors will help you narrow down your choices to colleges that fit your academic and personal preferences. So next is categorizing schools. After identifying potential colleges, categorize them into reach, target, and safety schools. Reach schools are going to be those schools that are highly selective institutions where your academic credentials fall below the average admitted student's profile. Aim to include 2 to 3 reach schools on your list. So a reach school could be a school where the admission rate is really, really low. We're talking about less than like 5%, maybe less than 10%. A school that's really competitive. So some examples would be most, if not all, of the Ivy Leagues, schools like Stanford, MIT. So this would be the idea of an example of a reach school. A target school. So these are schools where your academic credentials are within the average range of admitted students. Include 3 to 4 target schools to ensure a solid match. And then the last category is safety schools. These are schools where your academic credentials are above the average admitted student's profile. Include 2 to 3 safety schools to ensure you have secure options. And in the end, you're creating a balanced list of reach, target, and safety schools to maximize the chances of your acceptance and provide a range of options. So it's really important when crafting and categorizing your schools and making your list that you realize that the schools on your list, all of them should be schools that you'd be happy to attend. You shouldn't just fill your list with schools that maybe you think that, okay, I can get into the school, so I'm going to put it without necessarily researching. It all has to be about it being a good fit. It matches your, and aligns with your interests, your academic interests as well. And every single school should be researched. That's the point of this presentation, to make sure that you craft your list and invest the time into making it so that you're making a good decision and you have a wide range of options in the end. So the next thing is building a balanced list. So to illustrate this process, consider a hypothetical student interested in biology and environmental science who participates in debate team, volunteering, and soccer, and aims for a career in environmental policy. This student prefers a medium-sized university in urban setting with a strong science program and active campus life. So we're gonna try to understand this process in terms of a case study example. So we just went over what kind of student profile this would involve. And so based on these preferences, okay, so we're going to be talking about how some reach schools based on the student profile would be UCLA, Berkeley, UCB, Berkeley, Georgetown University. So those are examples of reach schools. For target schools, we have University of Wisconsin-Madison and the University of Minnesota Twin Cities. So again, reach schools would be where let's say your academic credentials fall below the average of the admitted students. Target schools where your academic credentials fall within range of admitted students, and then safety schools will be where your academic credentials fall below admitted students. And so the safety schools in this case would be Iowa State University and University of Vermont. So we see that this would be an example of a preliminary college list. There are schools that cover the different tiers. So we have reach schools, target schools, and safety schools. And the idea is that a list like this would be balanced. By categorizing colleges into reach and target and safety schools, the student creates a balanced list that aligns with their academic and personal preferences, which is what we've been talking about. So next is finalizing your list. So once you have a preliminary list, narrow down your choices by visiting campuses if possible, considering fit and feel, and discussing options with family and advisors. Ensure you meet all application requirements and pay attention to deadlines and financial aid opportunities. So this is really important that when you're talking about visiting campuses, because obviously you need to feel, what it's like to go there. As a student, you should definitely try to book a virtual tour or an on-campus tour if that's possible for you. Some students during the summer take advantage of this by flying out, for example, to Northeast USA, so that way they can visit some of the Ivy Leagues and schools in that part of the country, and that way they can visit several schools. So you want to be a little strategic about it. You don't want to just fly out to one side of the U.S. just to visit one school. You want to do that while you're able to visit other schools as well. So you have to plan your trip. So that I remember for graduation, in my case, my alma mater is Cornell University. My sisters were interested in law school, so the day before my graduation, we had visited the law school, and I remember seeing the student walking out, and we asked him are you a student here? And he was like, yeah, I'm a student here. And he's like, I just turned in my last exam, the last thing that he had to do for law school, and we were asking him about it. And yeah, he was basically saying that it's really hard. Cornell Law School is really hard, but that that he had so many sleepless nights and everything. But that's grad school, at an Ivy League. So the point is that that was a very limited interaction in terms of what we learned. But the idea is that you get that opportunity. You can run into students on campus. You can talk to them. You can ask them questions. You can also try the dining options. You can see the dorms. You can see the layout of the college, including things like safety. You can figure out, where there's certain resources on campus, for advising. Remember we had a Gannett Medical Health Center on campus as well. And, the libraries, you can get a feel for the libraries, and, study spots, potentially, if you're going to be a student there. So these are things you want to be considering while you're there on campus, and things that you can only take advantage of if you're there on campus. So it's definitely worthwhile to pay a visit to these colleges, especially if they're within your reach. So after you finalize your list, the next thing is to be proactive. You want to be checking the statuses of applications. You want to be checking correspondence. You want to be checking your email, logging into the portals, making sure that everything is running smoothly. And as for a conclusion, developing a college list involves aligning your choices with your interests, goals, and aspirations, researching potential colleges, and categorizing them strategically. By following this process, you can create a balanced college list that maximizes your options and opportunities. Remember, the goal is to find a college where you will thrive academically, socially, and personally. Thank you for your attention and best of luck in your college search journey. So I wanted to talk about my specific case just to end the presentation. So I remember first hearing about Cornell University because a lot of the valedictorians before me were going there. So that's when I first heard about the college. I looked at it. I saw that they had an observatory on campus, and at that time I wanted to study like astrophysics, and so this was really important to me. And I remember researching the school a little bit more, realizing that it could be a good fit for me. So I started crafting my college list with this being like maybe like a mix between a reach school and a target school, because of course my academic profile was, I would say, within means of admitted students, but with an Ivy League you're never sure. So I did everything I could in terms of trying to guarantee that I had a good chance of getting in. And so the point is that part of that was visiting the campus, so I definitely did that. Talking to people that went there, I obviously did that as well. And I did tours, I did virtual tours, and at the same time I visited some other schools as well. And so the idea is that it's okay to have like one school as, let's say, like your top school, and that's like your main focus, but you want to make sure that you cover your bases. So that's the point of creating a college list. You're diversifying the risk in some sense. You're spreading the risk amongst different schools instead of just putting everything into one school. So I hope that you follow, these insights, and, you're able to take advantage of the process that we talked about and apply it to your case. But yeah, in the end, you want to make sure you have a balanced list, so that way you can cover, all three different tiers in the schools. And it does take time. Researching your schools does take time, so you definitely want to start that sooner rather than later. So I would say a good time to start would be like just before the summer of junior year, but you can start before that. You can start the summer of sophomore year or the summer of freshman year. So it's never too early to start, but you definitely want to be doing that right before senior year starts, or senior year, because then you're going to be rushing it, and you don't want to be rushing a decision that's that important. So that would be my tip for that. So I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.
感谢皮尔先生的分享哈，这份清单真的是非常的重要，希望大家呢都可以选择到自己这个不同层次的可以选择的学校。那么当然有任何的问题还可以继续来咨询我们的文美集团。文美集团是美国著名的大学申请及规划辅导机构，20年规划经验，在美国洛杉矶、纽约、芝加哥等12个城市设有服务中心，为广大华人子女提供教育服务。文美集团专注于美国大学升学规划服务，教育学博士+常春藤名校面试官顾问团队，中美双顾问模式，为6到12年级学生提供最好、最全方位的教育服务。欢迎大家扫码或者是直接搜索关注文美集团的微信公众号美国文美，及时了解最新最全的美国升学资讯。如果想跟文美的客服互动，请在节目播出期间扫描屏幕左下角的文美客服二维码，或者直接搜索微信号文美集团的全拼音添加。 文美的咨询热线是1888-789-0942。也感谢大家收看我们今天的节目，我们下期见。